Basketball fans, welcome into Canada's home for talking hoops. This is The Hangout. I'm Akil Augustine, and we're talking playoffs. That's right. And for playoff talk, we got to bring in our three favorite Hangout minds. The producer of the Toronto Raptors broadcast, Dan Gladman. When do you fly out to Indiana, Dan?
Off to Indianapolis tomorrow for games 3 and 4. Cannot wait.
I hope you bring some luck with you.
We'll need to.
And then the Americanadian, of course, and none other than Will Strickland of TSN Radio. How you doing, buddy?
Trying to maintain. You know, my friends call me hands because they can count on me, but they also call me charades because I speak with my hands and I speak with my hands.
Okay, well, don't hit nobody today.
Saying.
And my dancing partner, also a pretty good comedian Trixx. Hey, 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 hey. Okay, you know, a little fun for you guys. Shout out to Cameron Payne and Russell Westbrook. But we got to focus in on the Toronto Raptors. Game 1, 190, they fell to Paul George and the Indiana Pacers. Game 2, 98-87, huge win. Here's my question for Will Strickland, because I was listening to you on the radio. Did you panic after Game 1?
Never panic.
What?
For what?
I was listening to you on the radio,
That's
bro.
not me panicking. That's me saying to them that if they're trying to pretend when they go to the podium game,
Yep.
and guys are trying to act like, oh, it's just another game. No, the weight of the past 2 playoff series is on them. And you could see that in Game 2. The announcers were tight. The fans were tight.
He's calling you out, Dan.
Everything was tight because this was the most important game in Raptors basketball history, period.
Dan Gladman, did you panic after
Game 7 against Brooklyn was a pretty important game, as was Game 5 in 2001 when they beat the Knicks. Panic might be going a bit too far. However, there was tension. I felt it. You know,
You were texting me at night.
After Game 1, you had that question lingering, and you wondered, at that point, you wondered, are they even going to win a game? Because they had lost 7 straight playoff games and 3 straight home game ones. So there was a little concern. Was it panic? I don't think there was panic. I think there was some trepidation, some tension, but
Are you playing semantics with the words now?
Yeah, he is. He's playing semantics with the words. There was panic, widespread. I got a text from Trixx before Game 2. He said, boy, listen, them boys better win this game or the couch is going to be fire. Well, Human Torch, flame on.
I'll be honest with you, man. There wasn't panic for me either. I was just more disappointed because I was like, guys, you've lost 2 series. You were swept last year. And the things they did in Game 2, they didn't do in Game 1. To Dwayne Casey.
Shouts out to Dwayne Casey.
To Dwayne Casey.
Tricks. Listen, the last game they played against Indiana, even the announcers, Jack Armstrong and Matt Devlin were like, these guys are not playing with urgency. That's because they were trying to play in position to make sure they played the Raptors in the first round of the playoffs. That's what they wanted.
Okay.
And when you have teams who are trying to position themselves to play against you, the second best team in the East, what does that tell you about the Raptors?
Okay, well, we've learned some things about this Raptor team during this series. We've yet to see DeMar DeRozan pitch a perfect game. Kyle Lowry finally showed up in Game 2. But Jonas Valanciunas has played quite the series. 23 points, 15 rebounds in Game 2. Should he be option number 2, Dan Gladman? Should he be looked at more consistently now, seeing that your superstars are struggling?
Well, if you listen to Leo Routens, he'll tell you always establish the big man. But
Shots fired.
In this scenario, I think JV should be the number 2 option.
Especially if Corey Joseph is on the floor.
Maybe even number 1. If you go back and look at the numbers over the in JV's career, one of the teams he's played best against are the Indiana Pacers. Roy Hibbert used to have problems with him, and right now JV is dominating the paint in this series because Jan Mahinmi and Miles Turner.
Miles Turner was fouling everybody. He's fouling everybody.
Turner had a nice
He's a
game
rookie.
1, but he's a
Yes,
rookie. He's not
understandable.
in JV's class. JV has a definite advantage, and the Raptors have to keep taking advantage of it.
Trixx, is Kyle Lowry off the hook after that performance in Game 2? Because he came out looking to distribute 18 points, 9 assists.
He's not off the hook. He's not off the hook. He did some things that kind of gave us a little hope. But the numbers definitely don't tell the story. The man took a lot of shots, he missed a lot of shots, but he made plays, and that's what saved him last night. He made a lot of plays.
So
In the
does that
playoffs,
bode
though,
well?
sometimes it's not about necessarily
It's not about
efficiency.
scoring, exactly, but
it's about what you do to help your team win. So you might go, well, you shouldn't go 7 for 33. That's a whole
they
other
didn't bench
story.
him last night, did they?
But Kyle Lowry did what he needed to do. I think the real issue is in the playoffs, if you know anything about this sport, especially at this level, it's all about matchups and how you exploit those matchups in the playoffs. So if you have an advantage with JV down low, you go to that, even though your star players, DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, are the guys you want to go to late in the games. I think that's what you have to do.
Talk
Establish
about,
yourself.
speaking about going too late in the games, well, they didn't go to DeMar DeRozan late in the game. He sat the entire fourth quarter. Okay,
Whoa.
calm down, easy there, buddy. But here's my question for you. Has DeMar's performance, not only in this playoffs, but especially in this playoffs, kind of forced you to reconsider what he draws in the offseason? Does this affect his free agency at all? No? No one's buying this.
Honestly, you know what, though?
What?
I think at the end of the day, the man's struggling right now, but I think, you know, as the series goes on, we'll see the DeMar that we need to see.
He sat the
I don't think
entire
it's a
fourth
panic
quarter in a game that some are pegging as the
But that
most
was a
important game in
statement.
Raptors.
was a statement
He
move.
wasn't the hot hand. You know, he's still probably going to be a max money player. He still has a track record.
He hasn't shown up in
He's
either
had
of these
some
games.
good playoff games. Yeah, he's struggled in games 1 and 2. But you know what? Game 3 is a new
Guys,
opportunity.
hold on, wait.
He plays well on the road.
Guys, let's take a step back here. We're talking about $25 million a
Absolutely.
season, which is what the conversation is for DeMar DeRozan right now. This is a guy who is the face of a franchise along with Kyle Lowry, and he has not been able to help his team in the playoffs. You don't think that affects the dollar value of him come next year?
What I think is you can't be a prisoner of the moment after 1 or 2 games. But his performance over the past 3 playoffs so far is not speaking to being a high-value, high-dollar guy right now. Until he shows up, until he makes that decision more palatable for a lot of teams. But here's the thing. If he scores and plays well and they win, he's going to get that money. He's going to get his money anyway. It's the difference between $20 million and $25 million. Who's quibbling either way?
Okay, all right. Well, we got to wrap up the Raptors conversation here. But we will, of course, be talking about the Raptors for the rest of the playoff run as long as that run lasts. But there's 7 other series we have to talk about. But for now, I'm just going to say, Kyle Lowry, way to show up. Those 9 assists were huge, but what I like more was this moment right here. Paul George been giving the Raptors trouble all series long. Guess what? Man up. Talk to him a little bit.
Bulldog deep.
Talk to him. Help